Today we answer a question from an Instagram listener. Have you always wondered how to use the word though? Find out today and find out why it matters for natural English and stream of consciousness speaking. Listen in. Hey, Jessica, how's it going today?
Pretty good. You know, as we're recording this, we are in the home stretch. That's a good idiom. We're talking about idioms, or no, we're not talking about idioms today.
Grammar, actually.
We're talking about grammar today. But we are in the home stretch of finishing our business course, and it's amazing.
Yeah, guys, if you want to get it now, you can get it. Go to allearsenglish.com/business and get in. I mean, the thing I love about the course is that it has all 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, right? We show you guys vocabulary and grammar too, right? So we didn't forget about those parts.
We didn't forget about anything in this business course, guys. All right. Well, you will hear more about that incredible course as we keep talking. But let's get to the grammar, because today's question, you know, we get asked this same question a lot by non-natives. It's a very confusing point.
Yes. And today this question comes from an Instagram listener, Mohammed Amer Obadai. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and read the question because it's nice to hear the questions from students in Instagram. So he says, hello, Lindsay and Michelle. How are you? Hope you are safe. I've been listening to your podcast for a while and I get confused when I hear the word though. So I'd like to ask you for an explanation. Thank you so much. Good question, Mohammed. Thank you for asking.
That is such a great question because when, you know, again, like this is not something you guys learn in textbooks.
No.
But this is the way we use the word all the time, right? I mean, in school, guys, you learned though as, you know, one of those transition phrases of contrast where it goes at the beginning or the middle of a sentence, blah, blah, blah. But we don't like classically use it like that. In spoken communication, it's very slangy. It's very colloquial. That's a great word. And super common.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why it's one of the building blocks of connection, right? Native connection. This is one of the things you don't want to mess it up, or you want to be able to use it, right? Because it is useful. It's useful spoken English. Yeah. So let's take what our students have learned in their textbooks and maybe not understood completely and bring it to life today, Jessica. What do you think?
Perfect. I love it. So guys, Lindsay and I were thinking about this, and there's really 2 situations that natives add this word though onto the end of sentences. And it is usually at the end of a sentence, guys. We use it a lot when we're having a conversation with someone else and we're trying to make a decision about something. And then the second way, which is also super common, is when we're talking out loud and trying to reach a decision sort of as we speak, you know, talking out loud, thinking out load.
Well, you have to be careful. If you think too much to yourself, you might start to talk out loud to yourself while you're walking down the street. So you have to be aware.
Well, it's funny because that's actually something that I was saying to James the other day. I've been messing up my words over the weekend because I was just a little bit tired. Oh, yeah. And James and I were talking and I was like, okay, let's think about this. I'm just going to talk out loud for a minute. And he's like, Mommy, you of course you're talking out loud. That's what you do when you talk. I'm like, oh.
Mixing up your expressions and that kind of thing. Yeah, that happens when you wake up early.
Yeah. So we do use that phrase to think out loud, which would be to brainstorm, right? Like sort of a stream of consciousness speech.
Yes, for sure. This is very natural English, right? This is not presentation, polished English, right? This is very like, stream of consciousness type of thing. And so let's go through the 2 examples and the 2 scenarios. Jessica, are you ready?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the first one is, again, like you said, when we're contrasting with another person. And an example here that I have is I'm going camping this weekend with a couple friends, and we're going to kind of a remote site. And what I was talking to my friend about is that we should be careful about how many groceries we bring, how much food we bring. And I said, if we bring too many things, it makes it complicated though. That was my way of kind of coming back and disagreeing, right? Because don't you feel that way when you go camping? I mean, there's no place to wash dishes. If you have all these like ornate dishes, it's just complicated.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't even enjoy the process of cooking at home. Yeah. Let alone camping when it's like 5 times more difficult, right?
It really is.
Oh my gosh. James and I revel in camping food because it's all about cans of food. Cans of chili, cans of beans.
Cans are that is so good. Cans. Oh my God, I love it. Yes, because the problem is you can't really wash dishes very well. So you have to wash them once at the campsite and then wash them again at home, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's such a hassle, guys.
Cans. Oh my God.
But yeah, so if you're having like a friendly conversation with another person, it's not bad to disagree with them, right?
Oh, no.
You're presenting your opinions and being honest with each other. So maybe, we wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh man, I really want to go for a run today. And then James will be like, but it's hot though.
Yeah. So yeah. And it's interesting that you just said that because it is a little bit redundant sometimes when natives add but and though. They put but in the beginning of the sentence and though at the end. And it's probably grammatically not right, but guys, that's okay, right? These are things that natives say. Yeah, we're teaching you real English here. So don't worry about what is perfectly correct, but that's definitely what natives sometimes say.
Yeah, I think that's really common to start with but and end with though. Just like it is. It does. If you think about it too much, it does seem very grammatically incorrect. But like Lindsay said, this is how we speak all the time.
For sure.
So that's super common, right? Having a discussion with someone else, politely disagreeing. But also, as we mentioned earlier, the second situation is when you're just thinking out loud or brainstorming.
Yes.
What are some other ways we say brainstorming?
Where can you meet 25 plus native speaking professionals to get business advice by video lesson, plus telephone templates to feel more confident on the phone? It's in our brand new Business English online course. Go to allearsenglish.com/business to get started with your study plan today. Yeah, so one that we hear a lot in the business world, actually, right, coming off of our business English course here is spitballing. And I think this is used in the boardroom. I feel like it's an especially male phrase for some reason.
Yeah, me too. Because it sounds gross to me.
Yeah, it really does. And it's very like kind of gendered in that way. But spitballing just means throwing ideas off of each other. Maybe you're in that boardroom. Maybe the CEOs are discussing something, throwing out ideas, right? Okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I could just imagine, people in suits and ties and stuff, and they roll up their sleeves and they're like, okay, we need to spitball some ideas. Being like very serious. But another great phrase, which I think is better than spitballing, which you could also perhaps use if you're brainstorming on a team at work, guys, to bounce ideas off of each other. I think that is like polite and a positive way to say that.
Yeah. And people often say this, they ask someone like, can I bounce some ideas off of you? Right.
Totally.
So, very common. Can I brainstorm some things with you? Can you hear me out on this thing or this thing? Yeah. Love it.
Right. Exactly. So while you are in a brainstorming session, right, and you're thinking out loud, sometimes you tend to contradict yourself, right? So let's see, for example, James and I went to karaoke this weekend because we were having multiple birthday celebrations throughout the year to make up for his not getting a birthday party this year. And you all know why. So we're going through the song list and I'm looking at the different bands and stuff, and James is in the background and he's like, but I want to sing some Beatles songs. And so first I contradict him and I'm like, they don't have Beatles though.
What?
And then I which was terrible.
Why would they not have Beatles? That's crazy.
I don't know. That's like the worst, biggest mistake that a karaoke place could make in my mind. And I keep going and I'm like, oh, I love this Led Zeppelin song. Oh, but you don't know it though.
Right.
And then I keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like weighing your options. You have an idea and then you disagree with your own idea. Very common. But you're doing it all in, again, that stream of consciousness format. You're thinking out loud. I love that.
This is, I think this is a really great language tool for our listeners to have, because we're always encouraging you guys to speak out loud as much as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you're not surrounded by English-speaking people, you can find ways to immerse yourself. So something we tell our IELTS students on the other show is to narrate your day, which means you're going to just talk out loud about what you're doing, right? So this is a great tool for that. In the morning, you're in the kitchen and you're like preparing your lunch and you're like, I think I want to make a sandwich today for myself. And you look up at the clock and you're like, oh, I don't have time though.
Oh,
I'm just going to grab a protein bar.
Ooh, that's a great example. And I love that idea. We've assigned that to students from our Japan Live event as study plans to get to their goals, right? Think out loud. Choose a 10-minute or 20-minute time period in the morning where you're narrating everything in your head. I feel like it's the secret to learning a language. It works. It completely works.
It really does. It's such a great way to get your brain to stop translating, right?
My gosh,
like slowly but surely, you're pushing that first language out of your brain as you're just encouraging it to use English more.
It really
because I think, right, like the biggest thing we hear from students about lack of confidence and fluency is like, I can think of the words and then I just can't say what I want to say.
Right. It's not being comfortable. It's kind of not being intimate with the language. But when you have something in your head all the time, you're becoming intimate with the language. It's so good. Right. So good.
Yes.
I love that.
Exactly. Oh, guys, if you are not subscribed to the IELTS Energy podcast, definitely go over and give that a listen, guys. A few weeks ago, we had a guest, Steve the Polyglot, who is learning his 19th and 20th language right now.